The song we're going to do right now was released on Christmas Day of 1967 originally. It's written by Boudleaux and Felice Bryan about a beautiful spot just out of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And on February the 15th, 1982, this song was voted by the General Assembly of Tennessee as one of their official state songs. And we were very fortunate to be the first group to have the first record on this. And since then, it's been recorded over 100 times. And we look back on dear old Rocky Top.
We said I was on a Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoggy smoke on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bill. Once I had a girl on Rocky Top, and by the other half get. Wild and mean but sweet as soda pop, I still dream about that. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Once two strangers climbed on Rocky Top looking for a moonshine still. Strangers ain't come down from Rocky Top, I reckon they never will. Corn won't grow at all on Rocky Top, dirt's too rocky by far. That's why all the folks on Rocky Top get their corn from a jar. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. I've had years that cramped up city life, travel like a duck in a pen. All I know is it's a city life can't be simple again. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
To the 15, to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, to the 25, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. It is a touchdown, Bighorns!
What is going on, boys and girls? Welcome to Thursday Night Live here on BBD TV tonight. Got my special good co-host buddy, Sports Talk J, doing a crossover with me here on Thursday. We're going to talk all things Tennessee football tonight, past and present, and then literally past and present. We'll get to that here in just a little while. Before I get to all of that, let's go over the particulars. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're coming over from Sports Talk J's channel, I appreciate you joining up. Hit that thumbs up if you feel like doing so. If you want to subscribe to the channel, the subscribe button is right down here, right underneath my finger, somewhere underneath there. I get mixed up pointing to these things because you got to do it in reverse. But anyway, that's where the subscribe button is located. If you want to join the channel, also right below the video here, just click that little join button. It gives you 3 options. You get special emojis and all that kind of silly stuff that people tend to like here on YouTube. But the most important thing you can do for this channel is hit that thumbs up button. I certainly appreciate it. YouTube appreciates it. The algorithm appreciates it. And I bet you Sports Talk J even appreciates it. Thank you to some very special friends of mine, Everhart Transportation Incorporated. They've been a sponsor of this channel for about 5 years now. Lifetime sponsors, no less. These guys really ponied up to the table. A few years ago, Klein Everhart approached me and said, "Hey, let's get together and do a sponsorship. You throw my company's name up there and I'll throw you a bone." And that's exactly what happened. They do anything you need done over there as far as it relates to the trucking industry. And they are an up-and-coming company in the trucking industry. They've been on the rise, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, since 1982. Klein Everhart started with 2 trucks, and he's built an empire ever since, and they just continue to grow. Also, thank you to Josh Quillen and the guys over at South State Contractors Incorporated. He jumped on board actually doing these videos. How you like the handwork there? Pretty neat, huh? He jumped on board with these Greenville videos over 10 years ago. We ran into each other at Walmart and we talked, and it's been a beautiful Greenville High School love affair ever since, working with the team in the locker room, on the field, doing the Greenville videos. So I appreciate Josh Quillen signing on as a sponsor back in March, I believe it was, right before the Slob Olympics. And they do automated paint systems is just one of the things they do at South State Contractors. So if you got something you need done, right there in front of you is the number to call. Get a hold of those boys and they can do it. And finally, to my guy here on YouTube, Celine Driver. He sponsors the channel as well every month through PayPal. I would be an idiot if I called him a small-time sponsor, because he's been sponsoring me for 3 years on here, and I certainly appreciate it. So thank you, Celine Driver. You guys go check his channel out. He does watch reviews. He does live streams. He's got Florida Gator live streams that I don't know if he's still doing those or not. He may have quit on them already this year, but he does Harvard live streams. There you go, all you Ivy Leaguers that are out there watching right now. And I know there's a bunch of you. Anyway, thanks to each and every one of these people for sponsoring BVD TV. Couldn't do it without you. If you'd like to support the channel, there's several ways you can do it. The Cash App and PayPal link is right underneath this box in the description. Click one of those, choose whichever one you want. You can contribute to the channel, or super chats are always a fun way to contribute because I get to read them and you can say anything you want in a super chat. I ain't going to delete it. I ain't going to block it. I'm just going to read it and either laugh at it or maybe throw stones at it, whichever I see fit. Look at this. I got a green bottle tonight. I'm drinking out of a green bottle. How's that work with a green screen? Pretty cool, huh? Look at that. Pretty neat. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Unfortunately, for some of you that don't like it when I do this, yes, we're going to talk about a little bit of Greenville football after me and Sports Talk J get done, or we can talk about it with Sports Talk J. He's a Greenville graduate. In fact, he's a member of the first ever state title at Greenville, if memory serves me. He'll tell me if I'm right or wrong. In golf back in 85, Jay? I see you back there. Nod your head if it was 1985. Was it 84 or 85? He's searching the memory banks right now. So it was either 84 or 85. But anyway, they won the first ever state championship at Greenville High School. And he's a proud Greenville alum. Family name in this town. I'm not going to say it. He might not want me to, but grew up in Greenville just like I did. And more importantly, he's a huge, huge, huge Tennessee fan. And that's what brought us all here together, right? So without any further ado, let me introduce my good buddy and co-host for tonight and every week during football season and maybe beyond, Sports Talk J. What's going on, John? How you doing this Thursday night?
I am rocking and rolling and whatnot. How's
That's
that?
the whatnot could be the most important thing there.
Oh,
You never
yeah,
know.
absolutely. Yep.
Anything interesting going on in Jay's world?
Well, not in my world, but in volunteer world, there's a ton going on. A ton going on.
That's why you're here.
Yeah. Coming off a huge victory against South Carolina. I was pretty excited about that. Also, Texas A&M coming up. We've actually got some big games this weekend, even though I know it's a bye week. I don't mind a bye week because it gives me a chance to concentrate on other teams. I'm seeing South Carolina's. They're down in the dumps. They're 2-3. They're worried about Beamer. And then
they're off this week too, aren't they?
Oh, don't they play Vanderbilt or something?
I thought I saw.
Does Florida play Vanderbilt?
Twisted Rooster's pimping himself out this week to the highest bidder to be a fan this week. I think he said.
Rooster. Who do they play? Where they play? Are they off this week? Or are they playing Vanderbilt or something? He'll let us know. But anyway, and Florida fans, they are really not happy with Napier's offensive play calling, and they're going to pressure him to get an offensive coordinator because he calls all the plays, and it's a Jimbo Fisher situation.
I didn't see this, Jay, because I just literally now clicked over to the comments. Big shout out to Volunteer Appliance Tech.
Oh, you didn't see that? Yeah, that guy loaded.
Why?
You up, man.
Look at this.
Not
$50
once,
super chat.
Why? He did it twice.
And that wasn't good enough. He said, I'm going to throw you another bone. I've been following you for years. You helped me get my channel going back in the day, but you probably don't remember. Was Moody Vol. I remember Moody Vol 89. Keep on keeping on, BBD. Hey, you keep on keeping on, Moody Vol, a.k.a. Volunteer Appliance Tech. Thank you so much, man. You have no idea how much that excites me and helps me out. I appreciate that. You know, YouTube actually sends us a check once a month, Sports Talk J. I know you know that. And those super chats definitely help, and I appreciate it. Twisted Rooster. Speaking of Twisted Rooster, y'all might find this interesting, Jay. Check that out.
Was that recent?
That was this weekend during his live stream. Oh, no,
that's that mustard thing. Oh,
yeah,
no.
he was supposed to get slapped in the face with the mustard tortilla, but he did one. He did one better. He took the tortilla, slathered mustard all over it, and mashed it right in his face. So shout out to Twisted Rooster for living up to his bet. And this might make this next one might make some people unhappy. But shout out, I have to say shout out to Carolina Jackpot too. And Boogie, if you're watching, my apologies, sir, but the man owned up to his bet. And regardless of what happened on here, whether I like it or not, the man owned up to his bet. And you've always got to acknowledge a man not bet welching. To me, bet welchers are some of the worst people on earth. And this man is not a bet welcher. Look at that. Busted 12 eggs over his head and then rinsed it all down with a gallon of milk. I don't care who you are. That's funny. That is funny.
Oh, man.
And that's available on his channel. He did it live. So if there's anybody that wants to go see that, it's available live on his channel. Jay, we got a pretty big win this weekend in our Super Bowl over
it was our Super Bowl.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
What do you mean? I'm still celebrating. What are you talking about?
Well, I was the daggone grand marshal of the parade Monday.
Exactly.
Did you know that?
Exactly.
So anyway,
we finally got him.
Finally, yeah. We've been waiting how many years? Oh yeah, one to beat South Carolina. Yes.
I'll tell you what. I really thought Spencer Rattler would play well, but he never got a chance. I don't even blame him. He never got a chance. That guy was harassed. They ran him out of his own end zone. That's how bad it got.
Literally.
Think about that for a minute. You got run out of your own end zone. That's how much time he had. He had no time. It was just like as soon as he went back, they were like 2 feet from him coming like steamrollers at him.
Well,
It was
technically, we ran him out of his rented end zone. We just rented that end zone to him.
Yeah, well, he sure ran out, and I don't blame him. It was just ridiculous. I knew when that happened right there. It's like this game's over. This game's over.
I talked to you a little bit after the game, and other than that, we haven't talked at all about this game this week. What are your thoughts? I'm not going to talk about fans that boo players. I've gone over that ad nauseum over the years. I have my opinion on it. You know, people might have their opinion. What about the kids that were chanting "F you Rattler, F you Rattler"?
Oh, no, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
I know they're college kids, and I kind of go to default mode, and I'm like, okay, they're just college kids. But come on, I know you college kids had parents that taught you a little bit of manners.
Well, and here's the thing: it's not like Rattler was running his jaw and doing all that before the game and telling everybody to stick it. You know, it'd be one thing if he invited it, but I didn't see any of that, so I'm not.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that. No, I didn't even know that was happening.
What's up, Feltro? I could hear it during the game.
Could you?
I heard it about 3 different times. I mean,
I'm not a fan of that.
It was faint. I was even asking on the live stream, what are they saying? What's the crowd saying? But I knew exactly what they were saying.
Were they actually saying the word or just?
Yeah, they were saying the word.
Like I don't care for that.
Fortunately,
that's you're going to get some of that 7:30 at night when they're smashed. They're
not. Wait. Time out. Hold the phone. Smashed? What are you talking about? Tennessee kids don't drink.
Drunk.
They don't drink.
Drunk.
They butt chug, don't they? Isn't that what they do at Tennessee? There might have been a lot of that going on. I don't know either.
I don't want to.
What's up, Feltro? Good to see you in the comments. Feltro's been watching BBD TV, I think, as long as the recesses of my memory allow to go back, as have a lot of the people that watch this show. So I appreciate all of you guys. It means the world to me. So, the South Carolina game, we won't spend a great deal of time talking about it if you don't want to. No point going over the stats again.
I like talking about it. I'm fine talking about it. I like
okay.
Enjoying a win. I like enjoying a win. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's enjoy the win.
I'm with you. We got 2 weeks to enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
maybe a week and a half.
What they did to us last year, you're darn right I want to enjoy it. I mean, they took a big dump in our Cheerios.
That's a good point. Yeah, I was taking a bite of my Cheerios during that game last year and didn't like what I came up with in the spoon.
I bet you didn't.
I didn't. It was awful.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. Let's talk about it for a little while.
Absolutely.
I'd give Rattler the middle finger, but I've got more class than that. So
I don't have a big problem with Rattler. I know he said that.
Oh, I know.
He said the Super Bowl comment. I like him being a little bit salty. I want him salty after he plays us. That's what I expect. See, that feeds me. I like that. I want all quarterbacks salty after they play us.
There was one point in the game. Can't remember what point it was, but I do know by this point he had already been sacked a few times and was running for his life, and I think the game was in pretty good control. I can't remember which Tennessee player was it, but the cameras zoomed in on Rattler, and I think he was walking back to the, not huddle, but back to I'll just say huddle, and there was a Tennessee player with him, and it was a great show of sportsmanship. The Tennessee player was kind of patting him on the back of the helmet. Rattler was doing the same, and you could read his mouth, you could read his lips, what he was saying. And he was, if I remember right, he was saying, "Good job" or "Good on you" or something like that. You know, it was a good show of sportsmanship by both guys, as was, and I know you don't like talking about this, the Brew McCoy injury, when all the South Carolina players were gathered around over there. Some of them were praying, but all of them had their heads turned. Nobody wanted to see that.
Yeah, I don't mind talking about it. It's just a shame. It's just such a shame. It really is. It was just devastating injury. And I hope a year from now he's back and can play in the NFL or
I hope he's back wearing orange. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fine. But I want him to come back and be able to play because that's not an easy injury. That it can be, But when you add the fracture and the dislocated ankle, it has to do with the tendons and we don't know how damaged that is one way or the other. Now, if there's anybody that can come back, it would be an athlete. And see, when I was looking at the stats on that injury, because I wanted to know about it, some people really struggle with it and some people are okay. But that a lot of times somebody coming back from an injury like that has to do with how they started. If you go into it and your ankles aren't that strong, you're probably going to have a tough time. Whereas he goes in there and he's, probably has the strongest ankles on the planet. So,
and not to state the obvious, but I am kind of stating the obvious. He's got an injury where it literally bears the entire weight of his body, and all the cuts and breaks and turns that they have to make at his position. That's hard on the ankle. And but I think with technology the way it is and the advances we've made in medicine, he's going to be just fine. Hopefully, I think he'll be fine. And I think he's going to have a good, long, lucrative career in the NFL, because that dude, he's a baller.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Hoghead. Thank you for the super chat. Get Dylan. Is it Duggan? I'm going to go with Duggan. That looks like it would be pronounced Duggan on one of your shows. If you tell me who that is, I will try to get him on here. Most definitely. I've been trying to get the Ball Bros. Have you ever heard of them, Jay?
I think I have watched one or two. I think I've watched one of their videos.
Very small YouTube channel.
Recently, I think I watched one. I'm trying to think.
I think they're on tonight.
Are they?
Either Tuesday night or tonight.
I feel like I've watched one of their videos.
Very professional. A very small channel. They're not getting a ton of views right now or subscribers, but I'm trying to get them on here. I want to help prop them up, if I can, because I like them. I've watched several of their shows and they're very professional. And
Cool.
And by professional, I don't mean they're like, it's not like watching Sports Center or something like that, but they're very good YouTubers. And I'd like to help those guys out and kind of pay it forward, if you will. Guys like you that have helped me, Boogie that have helped me, try and kind of pay it forward if I can. Let's see. I see Jeff Puckett in the comments. Good to see you. It's one of my high school buddies. I mean, Tennessee too, but Kelly Goodwin, good to see you. Twisted Rooster says BBD is super chat approved. Oh, I appreciate that. I'm trying to be super chat approved. Everything else approved, Twisted Rooster. Just approve, man. Just hit that check mark or click that thumb up or whatever. Just anything that says, I love you, BBD. I like what you're doing on here. Hey, Jay, we've cleaned up the language. Well, for the most part. I wouldn't advise watching. Well, yeah, I would. I wouldn't advise watching one of my live streams of a Tennessee game, especially if we're losing. But then again, that would be counterproductive. So I would highly recommend you watch, especially basketball, Jay. If you haven't watched me do a basketball game, it's colorful at best. I honestly think I'm better than Bob Kessling. I do. I swear I do. I don't have somebody in the background going, money, every 5 seconds.
Well, here's the one thing that I do like about him screaming money is that I know we just made a 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, here lately, we with him screaming money, we might have done anything good. He's picked up on the fact that we all like that. And I try not to listen to those guys, because John Ward said it best years ago when he said that 2 people should never call a basketball game. There's just too much action happening too fast, and there's not enough time for 2 people to talk at one time. That's why he never had a co-host for basketball. And man, basketball, that was John Ward's jam. For all you people that love Tennessee football with John Ward, basketball to me was when he was in rare form and at his best. What do you think about that? Because we talking about the old days and, Tennessee back in the day. Let's talk about John Ward for just a second.
Good job there, segue Sam. You just segued right into that beautifully.
That's right. I did, didn't I? I did. Segue Sam. There you go.
Yeah. I enjoy basketball a lot. I really do. Now, football's my number one.
Oh, yeah.
Basketball's number two. Baseball's in number three, which I used to not watch it, but we've gotten so good. I enjoy it now. And plus, I like the fact they've got the clock on baseball now, so it's not as slow. It really moves.
Mhm.
And I enjoy the aluminum bats because our guys knock the crap out of the ball. I mean, you see a lot of infield hits with the aluminum bats because they just – and I like scoring. I really enjoy – that's why I'm such a huge fan of Heupel.
Big fan of scoring.
I love high scores from our offense. I just enjoy it because it's just so critical. Last year, I said 2021 is one of my favorite years in football. I know I'm segueing back to football because I do that.
That's okay.
But 2021, we went 7-6. That was one of the funnest years I've ever watched football in my lifetime.
What year you kind of interneted out on me there for a second?
2021 when we went 7-6.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was just a joy. That whole season, even though we got creaked on 2 or 3 games that we probably should have won, I don't care. They were thrilling.
You could see what was coming.
We were coming after Pruitt, who was Mr. 3 yards in a cloud of dust crap, 1979. And I'm sitting here going, this just stinks. This whole thing stinks. And then all of a sudden, here comes Josh Heupel, breath of fresh air, and we're scoring 40 points a game. And, yeah, we're losing some of them because our defense stunk. We'd had 30 guys leave, but it was still super fun. And then the next year went 11-2, and it was just 8-0 at one point, number 1 in the country, which was crazy.
Well, look, Jay, we can still improve upon last year's record at this point. Why can't we go 12-1 or 11-1 in the regular season? Why not?
Well, we'll see. We're not scoring like we did last year.
I know, but our defense is not giving up points like it was last year. Let me hit these super chats real quick. Jason Jones, fellers, you got a question for us, Jay? Can Tennessee win the SEC? There's another segue. Can D. Williams change the offense? Go Vols. I'll come back to that. My buddy Jeff Puckett for 20 says, I love you, BBD. I like what you're doing. How's that? That's
there
great.
You go. What you asked for, you got it.
Yeah. And then Huffer Billy Paul to BBD's new bionic leg. That's true. It is kind of bionic. It's got a hydraulic foot on it. And strangely enough, I'm not having a bit of trouble adapting to the foot. It's the socket where my stump goes in that's killing me right now. But it sure does look good. It looks just like a Green Devil football helmet. So I'm loving it. If nothing else, I should get some helmet stickers maybe Friday night from the coaches after we dismantle Granger. You were talking about 2021 and all the scoring. You could see from that year what was coming. And, of course, in 2022, it came in a storm of points. And you mentioned it.
Said it ticked him off, but he was gave him a lot of hope. I got mad a few times during that season because we could have won 3 more games, but I could see, oh my gosh, look at what we've got now. And see, we still had Hendon Hooker for another year. And I was like, man, we could be outstanding the next year. I didn't expect us to be 11-2 though, honestly.
Oh yeah. Good point, Squid Tard. Bye ain't ready for the Vols. That team bye, they ain't got a shot. And of course, my boy Slim Shady chiming in about West Tennessee high school football is still far superior to that East Tennessee Fromunda cheese. Okay, we'll see. I know he's trolling, but we'll see.
What is Fromunda cheese?
Oh man, I don't
know what that. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I have.
It can't be good.
It's not.
Okay.
Think of places where Fromunda could come from.
Oh God. Oh my. Okay.
There we go. He got him.
Let's move on. I thought it was that's no. He got me.
Well, look. I know he's trolling about West Tennessee football. It's because West Tennessee, aside from Oakland, which is not even West Tennessee, they're Central Tennessee. I can't remember the last time somebody from West Tennessee won a state title. Who knows? For all I know, it was last year. I know it ain't going to be this year in 4A because Greenville's taking that one back. We got some title taken back to do. And Jay, I know you're not I know you like high school football because you cover recruiting, so you kind of have to like high school football. But you haven't gotten a chance really to see much Greenville football lately, have you?
What little bit I've watched on your channel.
Well, that's a good start. That's
Yeah.
a good start.
I mean, you cover it. I'm sure you're covering it better than anybody on the planet, honestly.
At the YouTube level, I would say I'm still covering better than everybody else. Now, there's some photographers out there that are covering it really hard right now. It used to be I was the only, and I'm going to call myself a media guy just because I can't think of anything else to call myself besides maybe a nutty super fan. But back when I first started doing this, I was really the only outside person in that locker room. Now we got, the photographers that are in there, and it's almost become a locker room for football / photographers.
That's too bright.
But I still get in there and get my footage when I can. And
I'm doing a little camera work. Sorry.
That's okay. You're good. We still got plenty of high school football left, starting tomorrow night. For some reason, tonight feels like a Wednesday, but it is indeed Thursday. And there's a lot of good high school football games tomorrow. No, you're fine, man. It looks fine. I'm not sure what it is you're trying to adjust, but looking good in your black shirt.
I should have adjusted it before we started, but I told you I had a couple of issues that I had to deal with. The camera wouldn't even come on.
It looks good. I mean,
yeah, it's fine now. It's an old 4K camcorder. I won't spend a lot of time talking about it, but it wasn't plugged in properly. It doesn't have a good connection, so
right.
It's the one I use for StreamYard. I've got the other camera I use for the other stuff.
Yeah,
boring. I'm not going to bore you with that. I got rid of that crappy Logitech garbage I had. That was terrible.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what this is I'm using right now. It's HD something. Then I've got a Logitech that's supposed to be pretty good that I had been using. But I actually think, this one might be better.
Well, mine was the cheapest version, and it's terrible. But I think the green screen messes it up.
Jason Jones for the $5 said, I just sold some aluminum cans. Here's $5 more here in Crossville, Tennessee. Now I'm looking in on the couch. I may be back. Go Vols. Are you in Crossville? You were in Vegas 2 days ago. You haven't made it all the way back to Crossville yet, have you? Man, Jay, wouldn't you hate to live in that town? Not because of the town or anything like that, but just living right there at the time change seems like that would be annoying.
It probably would be.
Wake up at 7 a.m.
Buddy, you're getting the super chats tonight, man. They're taking good care of you.
They are. It's a good night. It's a good night.
Yep, absolutely.
Good night for super chats. Maybe we've turned the corner here. I don't know. Hey, it makes up for the nights that we don't do so good. So,
yep. Well, here's a comment. The guy wants to know how my golf swing is. I played golf yesterday, actually, and normally I play at Sevierville Golf Club, which happens to be one of my sponsors, by the way. But they had 2 tournaments over there. The entire 36 holes had tournaments, which doesn't happen very often, as you can imagine. So Wednesdays normally when I try to play golf, and I had my buddies, and we played at Gatlinburg Country Club, which is actually in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's not in Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. It's right next to Dollywood. And
how many times have you played that one?
I've played it probably 5 or 10 times, and I played it during the pandemic.
Oh, okay. I played it twice.
That's all I could do. You were allowed to play golf, so I played golf. And it's a really old golf course from back in the day. It's real hilly. It's very, very scenic, and it's in good condition. But it's very old school, and I had a great time. I really did. I had a really good time, and I played decent. I think I shot a 70, and one of my buddies, Charlie Bob, shot a 71. And then the other 2 guys shot 85 and like 87.
I shoot 70 and putt. Get out of here with that. I shot decent crap.
Well, I didn't start out too good. I was 2 over through like 5 or 6 holes, which just everything that could go wrong went wrong. And then I played well after that.
Are you live?
Yes. Hang on, Jason or Justin. Take over the show for just a minute there, Jay.
No problem. You do what you need to do. I'm going to sit here and talk about South Carolina for a minute. Are you clicking out? Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about the South Carolina. I thought the addition of Cooper Mays being in that game was significant. I really did. I thought that was a big deal. He gave us really that linchpin guy in the middle, which allowed Ollie Lane to move to his natural position, which is guard, and just it really kind of solidified the whole offensive line. And then the beautiful thing was we were able to run the ball really well. And South Carolina is not some pushover team. They are not. They've got good athletes over there on the defensive side of the ball, and we were able to push them around pretty well. So I was very pleased to see us run for 238 yards. I was even more pleased that we kept them under 150 yards rushing, even with a 75-yard run, which is kind of shocking when you think about it. I mean, that's a gigantic run. So really they had like 50 or 60 yards outside of that. Now, it counts. I'm not saying the 75-yard doesn't count, so don't get it twisted, Rooster. But anyway, I was real pleased with that. I thought those two things were very, very critical, and I think Cooper Mays played a significant role in our offensive play calling and our ability to run.
Yeah, just wait till he gets back in football shape.
He looked like he was in pretty good shape last night playing that game.
Yeah, I was watching it was either Volunteer Roadshow or the Sports Source. I think it was Volunteer Roadshow, and they had Toby Champion on there. You remember him?
Toby Champion? No.
Think hard. Think 90s.
No,
He was a big offensive lineman. They were talking about Cooper, and said that you could tell. What was it? He said the defensive linemen for South Carolina were breathing, and Cooper Mays was breathing heavy.
Yeah.
So,
well, and here's the nice thing, though. He was very well rested.
Yeah, that's true.
So
and he'll get another week this week. So
yeah, absolutely. I think this came at a good time, this bye week. We've got, we're getting ready to go into our three most important games. Well, not counting Georgia, but we've got Texas A&M, Alabama, Kentucky at Kentucky. And that's not going to be as easy as I was hoping it'd be, because they look like they've gotten their offensive coordinator back. That was pretty good. And even though their quarterback's not playing that well, they got that Ray Davis guy out of Vanderbilt. And I had a little concern of him because he was good at Vanderbilt. And if you're good at Vanderbilt and you go somewhere else, you're probably going to be really good. He ran for almost 300 yards.
The other way around, though. If you're good at Tennessee and you go to Vanderbilt, you're going to be really good.
No, you'll probably not be very good.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking, think about that. If you're a great offensive lineman at Tennessee and you go to some crappy team, you're going to be the man. That's
well, you'll be the man, but that doesn't mean you're going to succeed and have wins and do all that.
No, your team's still going to suck.
Yeah, exactly. So are you the man? You're the what was it, that 80s movie?
Well, not the Andy Griffith man, but you're like a lower B grade man. How about that?
It's like the kid on 16 Candles. He said, "I'm the king of the nerds," and that little girl said, "Well, that's pretty cool."
What's happening, hot stuff? I love it.
That was a hilarious movie.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Lee Hodges?
No, sir.
Me neither. Fill us in, Fireball. Who is Lee Hodges? Now watch it be some great Tennessee All-American. Kind of like Billy Cole did me the other night with Charlie Fulton. Have you heard of Charlie Fulton?
No, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm not the only mid-50s idiot Tennessee fan then.
I know from the 80s forward pretty well.
Right.
If you get before the 80s, I'm not so good.
Yes, bow hunting, my cow tipping video has over 1 million videos. It's been over 1 million for a while. You go figure, Sports Talk J. You come on here to be a Tennessee YouTuber, and your first video with 1 million views is a stupid cow tipping video.
I've seen that video.
Yeah, maybe I'm in the
one of the 1.2 million.
Maybe I'm in the wrong line of work. Maybe I need to start just doing cow tipping videos all the time. I don't know.
Well, everybody wants to see a cow tipped over.
That's because they've never seen it before. That's
Yeah.
why.
I remember in high school people talking about going cow tipping.
But they're lying. They were all a bunch of liars.
Yeah, I've never seen it happen.
Show me one video on YouTube of someone. There is actually one.
Would they be allowed to have it on YouTube?
Well, of course.
Wouldn't that be cruelty to animals? Or
I
something?
mean, PETA might not like it, but I mean, the only cow tipping video I've ever seen was a guy flying low in like this crop duster airplane, and he actually got too low and ran over a cow. And
Oh Lord!
yeah,
Did it actually hit the cow?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was
man.
bad. It was bad.
I'll bet it
I mean,
was.
it wasn't cow tipping. It was more like cow rolling.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason E. Jones feeling generous. Must have sold a couple more cans. No, I'm in Vegas, headed to do a set of stand-up. What's 2NT mean? Tonight. Okay, duh. I had a Sports Talk J from Under Cheese moment there. Yes, humor does come across well, Huffer Billy Paul. That is a fact. And it's served me well over the years doing YouTube videos. I've tried to infuse a lot of humor into things I do on here, and people tend to like it. Same with Sports Talk J. He infuses humor into his videos, which, keeps them.
Well, I love I am a connoisseur of comedy of all
Yeah.
types.
I haven't seen any George Carlin on your videos yet.
That's 70s.
That's a request.
70s, dude. 70s.
No, man. Carlin was big in the 80s, too.
60s. He was big in 60s and 70s and then early 80s. That's probably
you
why.
go.
Now, I thought Carlin was funny, but not as funny as everybody else, maybe. He said some funny things, but really to me, I'm the Dumb and Dumber guy, and I think Eddie Murphy is a comedy genius. That guy.
Yeah. And Richard Pryor.
I think Eddie Murphy almost killed me a couple of times. Almost. And it was, I'll tell you what it was, the two movies. When he did The Barbershop and Coming to America, and then he did The Clumps. He did all those different people. And I mean,
that's when he's at his funniest. When
he's a comedy genius. He just is. And then Steve Martin, I love Steve Martin, and all the Caddyshack guys. I loved all them. And then Vacation, and just, I'm a huge connoisseur of comedy. I mean,
real quick, real quick, off the cuff, rapid fire. Give me 3, make it 4 of your favorite comedians.
Well, obviously the Dumb and Dumber guy. What's his dad?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. He's probably number one. Well, no, I take that back. Eddie Murphy's number one. So I'll go Eddie, Carrey. Steve, I love Steve Martin. Loved him for decades. The fourth one I'd struggle with. I probably won't pick the right. Chevy Chase, maybe. Rodney Dangerfield.
Dangerfield. There you go.
He was very funny. There was just so many. There's so many. That'd probably be top 3 for sure.
There's a ton you didn't name that I was thinking of as you were naming
Bill
them.
Murray, Chris Farley, John Candy. Red Fox, loved all of them. Loved all 4 of those.
What about Martin Lawrence? Is that a little bit too modern?
Funny. He's pretty funny.
Will Smith?
I always thought Will was funny. I'm not happy with him because of that, going up there and acting like an absolute idiot.
Right.
Because his wife.
That aside.
Yeah, that aside, I liked Will Smith. I always have.
Sam Kinison?
He's funny. I've enjoyed some of his comedy. He's passed away.
He's been in a couple of good movies. I think Kinison has.
I think he passed away.
Pretty sure he did. Yeah.
He was funny.
Steve Martin, you said The Jerk, one of my all-time favorite movies.
God, he's
one of the first ones. Yeah, there's a ton.
I'm gonna hit you with one. The Man with Two Brains.
Steve Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm honestly not a big fan of that movie.
Really? I thought it was funny.
I couldn't make it through the whole thing. Is that where he's wearing plaid a lot, or is that
no? That's a totally different thing. No, this is one where he was Dr. Farr.
Oh, okay.
And he was had Anna Mulmahay or whatever. It was a Steve Martin.
What's the guy's name that was with He got the gigantic finger that was with Eddie Murphy and Coming to America.
Oh gosh, I could have told you 2 seconds ago.
Yeah,
Arsenio
daggone it.
Hall.
Arsenio Hall.
He was
Yeah.
funny in that movie. He was very funny in that movie.
Things that make you go, Yeah,
Yep.
he's had some good moments.
Yep. Anytime he was with Eddie, he was funny. Eddie makes people funny. Gosh.
He does. Oh God, what's the movie? One of his more recent movies. I can't believe I can't think of the name of it. Where he was a nerd and he was dating the big fat woman. What was her name? Oh, come on, guys, in the comments, help me out here. Pauly Shore was pretty funny too. Yeah. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank.
How did we get into all this?
I don't know, but I like talking about stuff like this too. It don't matter to me.
You segued. I might have segued to
One of us segued into comedy.
I did.
No, it was Jason. Jason. His $2 super chat.
I love comedy. I have Norbert.
Norbert. Yes, Norbert.
I wasn't a huge Norbert fan. I watched a little
How
bit of
you
it. I couldn't
doing?
get into it.
How you doing? Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't his best work, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, like I said, here's one. The Golden
Child.
The Golden Child. Now he says that's one of his worst movies. I thought he was great.
No, that was a great movie.
Hard in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really even a comedy. It was a comedy, but the whole thing wasn't.
Well, it's
comedic,
because if he's in it, it's comedy. He
did have one movie where it was not very comedic at all, and of course I can't think of the name of it. But the movie
they always got to do that crap.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey decided.
Jim Carrey tried it. Yeah,
we have 1 million serious actors. We have very few comedy geniuses. Stay in your lane where we want you because you're hilarious.
John Candy was pretty good though.
I love John Candy.
No, I mean it pulling off.
I love Chris Farley almost. Oh my gosh, that guy
pulling off the serious role. I mean, look at him and Uncle Buck.
I loved Uncle Buck.
Yeah, Uncle Buck was great, man.
That movie was so funny. It was cute too. I enjoyed
funniest John Candy moment. I'm thinking when he's with Steve Martin and they're in the car and he falls asleep. He's smoking a cigarette and he falls asleep and the cigarette falls down behind him or something. And he wakes up, it wakes him up and he's going the wrong direction. You remember the movie I'm talking about?
I remember Pillows. Those aren't pillows.
Yeah, those aren't pillows. God, what was that movie?
That was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. We could sit here and do a show on movies.
There was a golf course.
Movies.
There was a golf course in Morristown that we named Planes, Trains, and Automobiles because it had a road that ran across it. It had a train that ran across it, and it was right next to an airport. And we named it Planes.
Which
Trains,
golf course was it?
It was something in Morristown. I don't think it's there anymore. I think they sold the property because it was a good piece of property.
Oh man, was it in Morristown or was it
in
like
Morristown area, that county?
Okay, I think I know where you're talking about. I think it was on the 4-lane, right off the 4-lane.
Exactly.
And my dad used to love that place, man. Lost Creek.
It could have been.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name.
It was Lost Creek because my buddy Greg, who's in here sometimes, was talking about how they closed that place. Daggone it, I've still got a voucher in my wallet to go get a free round at Lost Creek. They closed a good course down here in Greene County, Bayleton. I don't remember the name of it, but I think it was Bayleton Golf Course or something like that. I didn't, Slim Shady Canes. The one about West Tennessee High School.
Oh, I just to break the moment here for just a second. I just got confirmed. I don't have a blue chip on my blue chip breakdown on my show tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I've never had them on before, so that might be fun. You're not doing a show tomorrow night, are you? Today?
No, but I'm going to be at the game. Is this the one you're talking about, Slim? Because I didn't miss that. I read it because remember we talked about East Tennessee versus West Tennessee High School.
Are you talking about a super chat you missed?
Yeah, he said I missed a super chat, but I didn't.
Did he?
I didn't miss that. I don't usually miss super chats because I don't
No.
usually get that many. So they stand out. You sent a second one. I don't think it came through. I will go back.
Who sent a second
I'm
one?
going to double check. No, okay, you did 305. That's right here.
There you go.
I won't stand for any more of this Carlin slander. Hey, you won't get any Carlin slander from me, brother. I love George Carlin.
Oh, he's funny.
He's
funny as can be.
Dissertation about stuff, place for my stuff.
Oh yeah, he's very funny.
Great. I mean,
you just tried to make me put him in the top 3 though, and I couldn't do that.
Yeah, well, no, I was just naming guys. I was trying to think of guys that you didn't name that I would put in my top 3. But yeah, Blue Chip Breakdown's great, man. I started watching them a couple of months ago, I think, because of you.
Yeah, he does a lot of the X's and the O's.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking they've got they were coaches or they've got a coaching history.
He was for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
What's his co-host name?
I watched him today.
Tip.
I actually watched him today so I could get refamiliarized myself.
Right.
And he was talking about, I think he was talking about Brew McCoy, how we could work around that as best we could, which is going to be, he thought would be very difficult, but could be done. And I feel the same way.
I don't.
Brew was such a dog, man. He was such a dog out there.
I do agree. Brew is a dog, and we're going to miss him, no doubt. But I think Jacob Warren, and yes, I know he's a tight end, not a wide receiver, but I think he's just going to step his role up. Brew really, he played more like a tight end than he did a wide receiver a lot of the times. Yeah, he had some long catches, but if you think about it, he was, most of his catches were possession catches.
That was the great thing about him is that he was the third down specialist.
Yep.
Joe Milton, that was his security blanket. Number 2. Number 3, his downfield blocking was fantastic, especially on the bubble screens. They'd get it to a quick guy, and Brew would try to just road grade the wide receivers because he had them by about 40 pounds.
That's where a lot of us guys get not lost, but we don't see that.
Yeah, exactly. See, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves for the downfield blocking because he actually, and I Blue Chip actually showed this today where he was the key block in setting Joe Milton free for the 80-yard run.
Yeah.
And that's just what the guy, he did it so many times that you just, a running back goes 50 yards and you don't realize that, guess what? The key block after the 10-yard mark was Brew McCoy.
Yeah. Jeff Puckett brings up a point. I was going to say a good point, but then I caught myself. Here's something that a lot of us, maybe yourself included, Jeff, I don't know. You may be in that locker room. You may be at practice. I don't know that about you. How do we know who's a good leader and who's not? I know you can kind of tell, but there's guys that we never hear a word from, never see a highlight play from, that are some of the best leaders in the locker room ever. They're just guys that are quiet. They go about their business. They do their dang job, and they don't talk a lot. Those are some of the best leaders right there. The lead by example guys. I do agree, though. I do think Brew was a leader. You can just kind of tell by the way he talked in press conferences and by his actions that he probably is a big leader on this team.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know who our 5 best leaders are on that team. I wish there was a way of knowing that.
I think he was one of them. And I can tell you this much. Joe Milton was upset over that.
Oh, yeah.
He was very upset. And I wanted us – we were on like the 50-yard line, and I wanted us to run the ball 3 straight times because we'd already gotten like 5 yards. It's like just keep running the ball because Joe was mentally not ready to throw passes. It's like we need 3 or 4 plays, and we could have run the ball down their throat at that time and just let him get back going. And we immediately went to pass plays, and they went incomplete. And I'm going, what are you doing? His buddy that he's tight with, who is his security blanket, just went down in a bad – it wasn't just, oh, maybe he's okay, maybe – no, we knew he was immediately out. And he was anybody would be upset. And it's like, let's just kind of get the juices flowing here. Let's run the ball for a few times. We can get a first down, no problem, and then let him throw a pass. But we immediately went to pass plays, and I'm going, as offensive coordinator, you need to get your, you need to pick up on things like that. I was a little disappointed with that.
Yeah. In case you just joined us, or even if you've been here for a few minutes and haven't had a chance to see some of the things I've covered here tonight, I think it's very important. Probably the most important thing I've done in at least the last 30 minutes is show you guys this again, because it's great. Twisted Rooster with the mustard face.
Oh, mustard's the worst. It's just the worst.
I mean, pick between that or this.
You know what? They paid their bet, man.
They
paid
did.
their bet.
Which one of those would you do if you would you?
Oh, definitely.
I'm going to say rather.
I would do the eggs and milk way before the mustard.
Really?
Yes.
Man,
Mustard, I can't mustard yet, especially yellow mustard. Really bothers me way more than like other mustards, like honey mustard and all that stuff.
Well,
But
since
I'll
it
tell you
was
what
our
else,
Super Bowl, I should have
I
made him
would
do
not want to
Dijon.
win the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Oh no!
I would not want to win that. No, it's not worth it.
But they get to put on that gigantic hat.
Oh, that would help. That would help a lot.
I mean, none of them ever get it on their head. They put that freaking hat on there and kind of takes away from it. I want to see them guys suffer.
Well, they probably know that they can't ask them to do that.
I don't know. I mean, Duke's definitely paid their money for that game.
That's true.
If they want to dump a dump truck full of Duke's Mayo in there.
Here's what you don't want. You don't want the coach afterwards going, that sucked. That was terrible. I would never want to, you don't want that either, because that's bad advertising.
Yeah, I guess that's
true. Wear the hat. Plus, you don't want to totally humiliate them. I mean, come on.
Maybe they should totally humiliate the losing coach. That's what they need to do.
Well, here's how you get humiliated: by not paying your debt. If you don't put the mustard on, if you don't do the eggs and the milk, see, I respect what they did. Hey, you paid your debt, even though it sucked, you did it.
And to me, these are better bets than money bets.
Oh, definitely.
I would rather watch somebody humiliate themselves by smashing mustard all over their face.
Yeah, I mean, what good would
win
it
a $20 bet?
If he sent you a $20 bill, what's that going to do? Nobody gets any enjoyment.
That's right.
But it's
that's a Happy Meal at McDonald's now.
The mustard thing is rough. That's rough. It hurts me to see it. It's painful.
Oh, let's see. Where's it at? I never can remember where I put it. See,
who was the QB when I was at UT? Gosh,
when you started,
I remember one year, the guy that blew his knee out. That was such a good player. Dag nabbit, he was there. He was there one year. I was there, and he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. You remember and he beat Alabama, but he got hurt. He got his knee hurt in the Alabama game. Got an ACL.
Quarterback? Tony Robinson?
Tony Robinson.
Yeah, T-Rob.
I believe he was there one year. I was there because I remember seeing him in there all the time. I tell you who else I remember that was there. He wasn't the starting quarterback. Who's the guy that does the radio DJ thing and he's on the Sports Source?
Sterling Hinton, but that's not who you're thinking of.
Sterling Hinton was there. He was there when I was there.
Okay. My bad.
Who was
I thought you were talking about quarterbacks that got hurt.
I was there from 85 to 89.
Oh, was Steve out? No, let's see. 85 to 89. See, that's tough for me to remember too. Andy Kelly.
I think Andy Kelly.
Yep, he came in at the end of that, I think.
I'll tell you who else was a quarterback there, but he was a backup quarterback. It was our offensive coordinator for a little while, and he was the Morristown quarterback. Very good.
Randy Sanders.
Randy Sanders was there as a backup during that time.
What's the first quarterback you remember going to see a game at Tennessee?
Going to see a game?
Yep.
Oh, man. I probably can't remember that. I remember.
Can you tell me the year?
On the radio, Condridge Holloway.
That was 70s. Yeah.
Well, I was a little kid, and we used to listen to it on the radio. We would go – sometimes we'd go dove hunting and my dad would have it on the radio, or we'd go fishing or something, or go play golf or something.
You probably don't even remember Steve Alatorre, do you?
No, sir.
That was 1980, the year Pittsburgh came up here and hammered us. He was right after Jimmy Streeter.
Oh, I remember that name.
Yeah.
Jimmy Streeter. I remember that name. He was very good.
Yep, beat Notre Dame, 1979, under the lights, I believe, too. That was a huge game. Oh, man. First quarterback that I saw that sucked.
No, I'm from Greenville, bow hunting. I'm from Greenville originally, although I came out of Virginia.
Came out of Virginia?
Yeah, I mean, that's where I was born.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, and then I think we moved to Greenville. We moved to Johnson City from my ages 5 to 8. Then we moved to Greenville, and I was there for a long time, I guess till college.
I'm just going to tell it again since Bo Hunting asked a question, and since Sports Talk J can't seem to grab this out of the recesses of his memory. When me and Jay were little, like 7 years old, his dad had a big shindig at their house on West or North Main Street in Greenville. And in the backyard that day, your boy right over here, Sports Talk J, and your other boy right here were playing kickball, football, all kinds of baseball, wiffle ball. We were playing it all in his backyard.
I totally think happened because
I know it happened.
That's the crap that I would do all the time. We actually, here's one that's funny.
I assure you that happened.
Oh, I totally believe you. I totally 100% believe you. My brother built a 9-hole golf course in our backyard. Now, it was pitch and putt, obviously.
Right.
But he built a 9-hole golf course that we used to play all the time.
Best I remember, you guys did have a huge backyard.
We did. We had this crazy backyard. It was right next to the railroad track, of all things.
Yep.
And we had a piece of property that I guess nobody could do anything with because it was literally right next to the railroad. Nobody would want it. And he had a piece of property back there, and we made a go-kart track back there. We had a go-kart, and my brother was always doing something crazy like this. And he went back and mowed like a racetrack, and we would race go-karts back there and little mini bikes. But we were in crap all the time. We were always.
Oh yeah, I bet you and your brother were some spoiled little turds, weren't you?
Well, we were always
that's
beating
right.
each other up too. I was the youngest, so I usually got my butt whooped.
These guys, I bet, were into everything.
Oh yeah, it was every day. It was everyday athletics, everyday sports. And my brother was the lead dude, my older brother, and he was always building something for us to participate in.
I'm pretty sure the thing we played the most in your backyard that day was wiffle ball. Because I was huge into wiffle ball when I was a kid.
I was probably 8 years old because that's when I remember being in Greenville for the first time. So I was probably 8. You were probably 8.
That sounds about right because it was literally right before my mom and dad got divorced. My mom was working for your dad at the doctor's office. She was one of his nurses. And that was right before they got divorced, and then she ended up meeting the guy from Ohio and shipping me off to Ohio and starting a whole new life. So
it doesn't sound much fun.
At the time, it was horrible because it was me, my mom, my stepdad, and one of my 3 stepsisters lived in a 2-room apartment, 3 if you count the little tiny bathroom. But it was a brick house that somebody turned into like 3 apartments. Mm-hmm. And we had the kitchen and the living room and the bathroom part of the house. And then somebody else had another bedroom. And it was a crazy living arrangement for sure. In Dublin, Ohio. And that was the summer of 77, I think. And then we moved to Worthington or North Columbus. And that's when I started 6th grade. Met my boy John here for the first time. We've been friends ever since then, and looks like we're going to die together. So,
here's somebody asking where Chilmont is. Chilmont, I don't know. Wilmot may be cooking another one of those cowboy.
I was going to say he's out there cooking me and you.
Did you see that video?
Yes, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Man, that looked delicious.
Backyard smoking and grilling with Will. is what his name of his channel. And he did a cowboy ribeye. And man, I'd never seen a reverse sear before. And the way that meat got cooked, perfectly medium rare from top to bottom and seared, was remarkable.
What's the reverse?
Have you ever seen a steak cooked like that before?
No, and I'm not a big steak guy at all.
Gotcha. Well, you could probably do that with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that thing was so big. He was carving off slices of it. Like that one steak could probably feed 2 people.
He made 3 meals out of that.
Wow.
He made 3 steak dinners out of that for himself the next 3 days.
Right.
And he had bought it at a butcher shop. And I asked him how much he paid for it. He said it was $50.
That one piece of meat?
Yeah. He said, I've never, ever, ever paid $50 for a steak in my life.
That's insane.
It was that thick.
Yeah, it was thick.
It weighed over 2 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So it was a giant. I mean, they called it a brontosaurus steak.
Yeah, it was monstrous. And it had that big old bone sticking out one end of it. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was special.
I watched Chill Month.
It made for a really cool video.
But yeah, and a really cool steak too.
Oh yeah, he said it looked delicious. Like I said, normally
what do you say? An hour and 45 minutes?
An hour and 40 minutes because he smoked it for an hour and probably 20 minutes. And then of course the sear happens like in 1 minute on each side. But he got it up to 135 degrees in the middle, which got it to medium rare. And then he seared it on both ends real quick. It was perfect.
How is that safe? I thought you had to get your food up to like 170 or something.
Well, that's medium rare, and then you sear it on both ends. Now, I've heard 180 for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But with steak, you can't have medium rare and take it to 180 because then it's well done.
So I guess you're just taking your chances on.
Well, anytime you eat anything medium rare, there is a risk. You need to buy a quality piece of meat where you know how it's been handled. Because if you do anything rare or medium rare, it better not have been sitting around for a couple of days.
Yeah. You don't want to buy it from Szechuan's fish and beef place.
Yeah. Well, like I said, what I know about that would fill a thimble, but I'm just that's just an assumption.
I ain't afraid to say it. I used to work next to in Jonesboro. In fact, when I worked at Papa John's, one of my last jobs, there was a A1 China buffet right next door to us. And they had a table out back. You know how in these little strip malls, there's a back door to every business and people put supplies and stuff out back. They had a table out there, a meat preparing table. They would lay fish out on that table sometimes and leave it out there all day.
Oh, goodness.
So once I saw that, I was like, ain't eating at that place.
Do you know why a lot of those companies call themselves A1?
No.
It's because they can be the first on the list in the phone book. It guarantees them first on the list. And that used to be a big thing. It's not now. Nobody cares.
Okay.
But back in the day, that got you listed first in the yellow pages because you're A and you're 1.
There you go.
You'll see A1. You'll see A1 all over the place.
Welcome to A1 TV, folks. Yep. Right here on YouTube.
There you go. Everybody used to go to the yellow pages.
That's true.
Everybody used to read the newspapers. And I wonder about, I used to love a newspaper. That was one of my favorite things in the world was to read a newspaper. And it's been a long time since I'll buy the News Sentinel occasionally, just because it's sentimental to me and I like to read an actual paper. So I'll buy it from time to time just for the fun of it.
Did you ever deliver a paper?
No, never delivered papers.
Actually, I think I missed another super chat from Slim Shady Canes.
Well, you better get it.
I don't think I've read this one. Have I, Slim?
There it is.
We should bring back debtors prison bet for bet welchers.
No, you hadn't brought that one up.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that. We should bring back debtors prison for bet welchers. I've only been welched one time, and I briefly mentioned this last night. That was way back when I first started doing YouTube. A guy named Danny Bingo that was a New Orleans Saints fan. He lost a bet, and he was supposed to send me a hat. And I waited a couple of weeks before I said anything because back in those days, they'd give you a week or two to mail you something. And after 2 weeks, I started calling him out. And I finally got to the point I was like, look, this a-hole just straight up bet welched me Where's my GD hat? I was getting hot. Turns out the guy died.
Oh God.
So,
Oh no.
So that's one bet welching I can let slide.
Yeah, I think that's acceptable. I think that's
Yeah.
acceptable.
Had to give him a pass on that one, or him give me a pass or something.
Yeah. We haven't talked about Texas A&M coming up.
Dude, that is exactly the thought that just popped into my head. As soon as I finished my drink, I was going to say those exact words. Let's get into it.
Okay. Well, here's the big thing. First of all, they're playing Alabama at home this weekend, and I think
Wait a minute. At Alabama's home or at their home?
At A&M.
Okay.
If I'm wrong on that, y'all tell me, but I'm pretty confident they're playing them.
I feel pretty confident you're right also.
And so I think that's going to determine their mood coming into this game. If they win that game, they're probably going to be fired up. They'll be 5-1 at that point. If they lose that game and get humbled, they're probably A&M. They're bad to kind of – some teams will quit on you a little bit towards the end. When they start struggling. I don't know if A&M will do that. They do have Bobby Petrino now on offense, but they lost their 5-star quarterback, Connor Wegman. He has got a broken bone in his foot. So they've had to go to Max Johnson, who is Brad Johnson's son, who played in the NFL.
Not a bad quarterback either.
Yeah, he was a 3-star out of high school, but he's been bumped to a 4-star when he transferred out from LSU, by the way. And didn't LSU also have another quarterback transfer to Ole Miss?
I don't know about that.
I think they did. Well, anyway, Max Johnson's their quarterback now, and he played decent. I mean, he didn't exactly light it up in that game. That last game they played, he was 17 for 28, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. But they won the ball game. They beat, was it Arkansas, I believe?
They did beat Arkansas, yep.
Which Arkansas has been – something's going to happen in Arkansas if he doesn't have a winning season this year. I think people are going to get pretty down on the coach
Pittman
there.
may be gone. He may be gone after this year.
I think he's probably on the hottest seat, although I recently just did a hot seat video of the South Carolina and Florida guys just because it was
fun. Just
because it was fun.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do them.
Napier's going to have to get an offense. But what's going to happen at the end of this year is he's going to be Jimbo Fisher. And what he's going to do is hire an offensive coordinator. That will put meat out to the Wolves, and that'll calm him down for one more year. Plus, he's owed $31 million. That'll give him another year, and then they'll kind of see what happens then. But their 2024 schedule is very difficult. It's the toughest in the country, I think. I don't think there's much question. There are three out-of-conference games. Out of the 4 are Miami, FSU, and UCF.
Good Lord.
I mean, those are your, give me a break. That's tough.
That's a tough conference schedule if there was such a conference.
Well, and then you get to play all the SEC teams.
Yeah. I mean, let me look this up.
Their schedule is rough.
2024, right?
Yep, 2024.
That would, in best recollection, be the year that follows 2023.
You'll see. It's a house of horrors.
What, name those 3 again?
Miami, FSU. They always play FSU. UCF. The only easy game they got is like Grambling State, I think.
This is Texas A&M, right?
No. Florida.
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking at Texas A&M schedule saying, man, they play Notre Dame.
They might have a tough one too. But I know Florida's is the toughest.
Notre Dame, McNeese, and Bowling Green. There's 2 wins, unless you're Georgia Tech. Sorry, Rec talking, Sea-Dog. You guys deserve that after all that off-season bull doo-doo you were spreading around all of us. Had me thinking Georgia Tech might make a bowl this year. Dang it. I feel bad for Sea-Dog, though. I don't think you know him, but he's going to be paying up on some bets this year. It's our 2 resident Tech fans, Georgia Tech guys. Twisted Rooster says Napier's hair is terrible. Not as bad as Kirby Smart's. That bowl cut having whatever kind of hairdo it is he's got. So what, it's obviously a week early to be giving predictions, but I'll give one anyway. It might change by next week. How do you got to discount the Alabama game? How do you see this game with A&M going for Tennessee?
I think we'll win the game. I think they're tougher than South Carolina, though, because they've got that defensive line and offensive line's better. They got more skilled players. I think losing that 5-star quarterback hurts them. Max Johnson's a decent quarterback, but he's not Connor Wagman, and they'll have to change their offense because of it. They're going to have to try to run the ball, and we're pretty good against the run typically, especially at Neyland. It's a 3:30 game, not 7 o'clock, but it's not a 12. So 3:30 is pretty good time for us. So I feel pretty good about it. I think we'll be favored by – well, we're currently favored by a touchdown. I think that's pretty accurate.
Wow. I didn't think it would be that much. I thought we might be favored by 3 or
BVD,
4.
I need a moment. You take over.
Okay, go ahead. I got you. Yeah, I thought – and I don't typically look at spreads except for the ones on our pick'em list that we do every week, which, by the way, I had a horrible week last week. I think I went 4-7. Dropped me from the top of the ranks to the also rans. So I need a big week in the pick'ems. But yeah, I thought, and it may drop down to that before the game gets here, depending on how they do against Alabama. That'll have the biggest effect on how we're looked at by Vegas. But I think especially if they beat Alabama, the spread will be like 3.5 before game gets here. But who knows? We'll see. This game, ever since I saw it on the schedule in the offseason, has had me worried. And I don't care about the bye week. I don't care about who they're playing beforehand. This game, I've had it cycled on the old BVD Tennessee schedule this year because it's a game I thought one of them games that in the preseason, everybody was chalking this up as a win. It's one I thought could go down as a loss. And my mind hasn't changed a whole lot yet on that. I feel like, oh man, I swear. I feel like Crimson Brave on a skateboard right now. I feel like I could come out of this one with a broken arm or something. And Tennessee might lose. But it's going to depend on, obviously, how Joe Milton plays. And right now that's, flip a coin. Which side of the Joe Milton coin you're going to get. I do think our offensive line has gotten and is getting better, and I think we'll hold up okay. We should be able to run the ball. I think we should be able to run the ball against anybody we play this year, to be honest. Now, I'm not saying, we're going to pile up 250, 300 yards every game or nothing ridiculous like that. But I think Tennessee should be able to run the ball fairly well against anybody on our schedule this year, save for maybe Alabama. We might be down around 125, 130 yards a game, and possibly the same against A&M. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Stats are not my forte. I'm not one that's very good at predicting stats or even reading stats after the game. I don't even do that very well. Because I'm not a stat guy. Never have been, never will. Stats are what they are. There's nothing you can do about them until after the game. That's just kind of the way I feel. I guess there's some areas where you can go into a game and look at some stats and say, okay, that could have an effect on a game. But to my knowledge, Jay, and we're both the same age, I don't think a stat has ever won or lost a game.
Well, it gives you trends.
Yeah.
I like stats because it gives you trends and it gives you some feeling that you have some idea what's going to happen. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, I went into the South Carolina game and I'd have bet anybody that Rattler would throw for 300 yards. And he threw for 168. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, nobody did.
I thought they would score 30 points, no problem, and that we would hopefully score 34 and win by maybe 3 or 4 points.
Well, I'm glad you were wrong.
Absolutely. It wound up being a great game for us.
Yeah.
And Neyland played a big role in that.
All those idiots shouting balls by 50, we're halfway right. We got
Yep.
halfway to VOLS by 50, or just a little under halfway.
It seems like home court advantage is really playing a huge role this year in the SEC. It's really, really, I mean, that 3 to 5 points crap, Neyland's worth way more than 3 to 5 points.
If it's like it was that night.
Yeah, the Swamp is worth way more than 3 to 5. Florida's a different team away from the Swamp. They're just a different team.
They are. They're not good. I mean, they've got a few more big games, I think, left at the Swamp this year. Where do they play LSU? Do you know?
At LSU.
LSU. That's more than likely a loss.
That's definitely a loss. Unless they can – I can't see them beating LSU at Death Valley.
Who have they got at home? The Georgia game is neutral.
Yeah, they play the neutral there. They
got Vandy.
That. They got Vandy. That's a win.
That's one.
They've got South Carolina. They've got South Carolina at South Carolina. That'll be a tough one for them.
That might be an L too.
They've got Missouri at Missouri, I believe, and they've got another game at home. I can't remember who else they got at home. I used to know it.
A South Carolina game is going to be South Carolina Super Bowl.
That'll be a big game. They need South Carolina, though. Both those coaches need that win.
Yeah.
I think that Florida's going to be 6-6. It feels like South Carolina is going to be 5-7 this year, which will be tough for Shane Beamer. He's not getting fired though. I mean, there's no way. But that's what it feels like. They might end up 6-6. They might end up 7-5. You know, if they kind of turn it on and like they did last year.
They turned it around last year. Yeah,
they sure did. They actually. But here's the problem: that they're living off Rattler, and Rattler's not getting any time, and that is a major problem because you got to give that guy time. I mean, it's almost, and this is not to make the South Carolina people mad. I know there's a few watching. It's just wrong for that poor guy to not have some time he's going to get hurt. That's what I think is going to happen if they do not protect him better. And at some point, he's got to think about his future in the NFL because he's going to be probably a first-round draft pick. Should he literally put himself out there and get hammered every single game against quality clubs and end up getting hurt?
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't like to see anybody get hurt in football at any level.
Why would they not put a tight end over there 24/7 next to that freshman left tackle? I don't know. I would attach something to their arms and say, this tight end will never leave you.
That guy was holding all night too.
Well, a freshman should not be in there against our best edge rushers.
I don't think they have a
5-star or some superstar.
I don't think they had a choice.
Yeah, they've had injuries. They've had injuries. But look, they gave up 9 sacks in the first game, which is typically when you're the most uninjured.
Yeah, I think that stat was, I want to say a little bit overblown, but it is what it is. Whether it's overblown or not.
I don't think it was overblown at all. North Carolina literally lived in that guy's lap.
That's true.
It was brutal. And he was limping half the game.
I mean, they were doing pretty good after that game, weren't they? I mean,
South Carolina did, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, until the Tennessee game.
He played great he had 350 yards in that game. That's when I was so impressed. When I saw that, I was like, this guy's a gamer because he got pummeled and he got up and they talked to him after the game and he was like fine with it. They were like, you got sacked 9. He was like, oh, it'll be all right. It'll be fine. These guys will get it together. I'm fine. Don't worry. Don't get down on him. I don't want to hear any negative comments about it. I was like, you just got sacked 9 times. He was fine.
I wonder what the record is in a college football game for sacks in one game. I know 9's not it, but
no, I'm sure it's not. But that's the most I've heard of.
It's the most I'd ever heard of for sure. I'm going to look that up. John gets so mad at me. Me and him will be arguing literally about anything, and I'll grab my phone and go, I'm going to look it up, and I'll look it up, and if I'm right, I let him know.
Look it up.
Yeah. No sense arguing about it when you can look it up. What am I looking up again? Oh.
Most sacks ever in a game. It'll probably be 1932 Harvard versus Yale or something.
Yeah. No, it'll be a game.
They probably didn't have sacks back then.
Oh, wow. Wait, this can't be right. Let's see. No, that ain't right. And it's wanting to tell me NFL crap. I didn't specify.
Yeah. In college, you looking for college?
College, yeah.
I just know that 9's unacceptable and 6 is also unacceptable for a first-round draft pick. And that guy, here's the thing. He's not some stationary, immobile quarterback. He's actually a very good scrambler. He's not a great scrambler, but he's pretty darn good. So
I'm going to have to add even more freaking things in here to get the right answer.
It'll be some weird number, some weird game with Fresno State versus.
Well, I got the person, and it might surprise you where it came from. The person won't surprise you. Well, it's still saying Pat Swilling for Georgia Tech set the NCAA record with 7 sacks versus NC State, but I want the team stat.
Yeah, that would 7 in one game.
What is the team record for sacks in a game? 14. That's Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
College. Single season is 27.
I'll tell you who else is a good player for South Carolina is that Leggett. That's another Sunday player. That guy's good. And they badly need Juice Wells back. They really need him. That guy's a baller too, but I think he's injured.
Well,
but here's the problem though. If your offensive line can't stand up in the SEC, if you're going to give up 5, 6, 7 sacks a game, it's going to be really hard to score points. Even if you've got a first-round quarterback behind that, because you're not going to be able to run the ball. And if you're not running the ball, and that's the other problem. Even though, yes, they had some yards against us, there was mainly that one big run, I'd much rather them, if they're going to have 136 yards against us rushing, I'd rather them have a 100-yard run and then 36 yards the rest of the game. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all. I have no problem with the 75 yards in one run and then 50 after that or whatever the crap. That's fine. That's the way you want it. What you don't want is 138 yards and it's a 4 or 5 yard average and it's 5 yards every time.
I forget who I had this argument with the other night, or maybe it wasn't even an argument. It was on a show. It was Jason on Tuesday night. He said, if you take out blah, 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 Tennessee, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, but you can't take it out.
You can't take a 75-yard run out.
But you can't take anything out, That was kind of my whole point.
But you would prefer that they get their yardage that way.
Yeah.
Like one big run and then a bunch of little tiny ones.
In fact, that's exactly what he was talking about, was the guy from Newberry that got that big long run, 75-yard run. Well, if you take that out, they only had such and such yards, but
Well, you can certainly reference it. You can definitely reference it, but
you can reference it, but you can't do it. Hey, look, if Tennessee,
big play,
if we could have just taken out 4 of those touchdowns South Carolina had last year, Tennessee would have won the game. But sadly for us, it seems like you can't take those things out.
Well, the play of the game was the pick 6, and that was not Rattler's fault. It wasn't.
No.
And I know it sounds like I'm defending Rattler. It's because I can see what happened.
Yeah, you big Rattler apologist, you.
Yeah. Well, edge rusher comes around the right side, which is where most of them came from, and he's back there trying to throw this pass to an open receiver, and that guy's about to crush him. And he's like, okay, I got to get rid. And he got rid of it quick, and he couldn't finish his pass.
Who was out of position on that play? Was it Kamal Haddon or somebody else? Because this was a debate too. I thought Kamal was out because I was like, he got a pick 6 on a play where he was badly out of position.
He looked like he was about
somebody
5 yards behind the guy. Had it been a good pass, it'd have been a completion. And
somebody corrected me. It was somebody else that was out of position.
Yeah.
They said it was cover 2 or something, and somebody didn't do whatever. And
here's the great thing: he caught the ball. And how many times do you watch cornerbacks and defensive backs get hit right in the hands and they'll drop it?
We had the same thing happen on 3rd and long. Where we had
all
a guy
the time because
first of all,
they're there because they're not receivers. Normally, those type of guys start out wanting to play receiver, and they don't have quite the hands for it. But they're so fast and quick and athletic they can play defensive backs. And then, I mean, now they can make just as much money as wide receivers, which is outstanding, really. But they normally don't have great hands. And plus, they're almost in shock because think about, oh my gosh, I've got a ball coming right at me. They're not used to it. So here's the shock and the nerves and everything's going crazy. And you don't know the ball's coming to you until it's suddenly there on you. It's just like, oh my gosh. So I think a lot of them panic.
They should make DBs hit the jug machine during practice.
Well, they do all kinds of crap, tip drills. They do tons of drills.
Yeah.
But it's one thing if you get 11 targets and you catch 7, you're mechanized towards that or you're used to it. But if you're a defensive back, you're going to get maybe one ball hit your hands in a game. And then everybody's mad at you because you didn't catch it.
Yeah. Who was the player for Tennessee? I was just talking about this. South Carolina had it 3rd and long. And I was thinking, cool, we're going to get off the field. And then Rattler throws a pass, and our guy was in perfect position. And it actually, I think the ball either hit him in the hands and
it went through his hands.
Bounced.
It went through his hands.
Who was that?
I can't remember. I do remember it going through his hands, and the guy caught it, which was a great catch by the South Carolina, which is why he's a receiver. Because he can catch a deflective. You know how hard it is to catch a deflective pass?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible.
I got to segue into a comedian thing here. Jerry Clower. You remember him, right?
How?
Yeah. How? Okay. Well, that play reminded me, during the game, it made me think of Jerry Clower because you can see whoever that was for Tennessee missed the interception and then he turned around and he was watching the South Carolina go down the sidelines and watching his number get smaller and smaller. And Jerry Clower does a bit where he talks about when he played at Mississippi State. And he said, there's no worse feeling in the world than playing football and the man you're supposed to tackle runs over you and you see his number getting smaller and smaller running down the field. It reminded me of that.
Well, BVD, I've got to head out here in just a moment.
Hey, whenever you're ready, just let me know, brother.
I know you got some other stuff you want to do, and I've got to go get something to eat.
I hear you. Well, I could eat too, but I'm gonna hang in there for a few minutes. I appreciate you coming on.
Being on, no worries at all, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll do it sometime next week on your channel. You pick the day.
Okay. All right.
As long as it's Friday.
See y'all.
See you, bud.
Okay.
Actually, we could do it next Friday if he wanted to because Greenville's off. That just hit me. It's our off week. Like we haven't had enough of that already this year. We've had sort of 2 off weeks with the 2 no games or whatever they call them, no decision, whatever, no something. So we got about 25, 30 minutes left here. You guys have been great tonight. Appreciate you interacting in the comments section. Appreciate. I don't know what the thumbs up's looking like right now. I can't see it on StreamYard. I guess I could pull it up over here on YouTube and find out. But I'm sure it's not enough because it's never enough. It's never enough for these daggone YouTubers. You give me 44 thumbs up and I want 45. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, go ahead and hit it. I surely would appreciate it. I can eat later. I don't like watching myself eat. Crimson Brave. And that is a good point. Nobody wants to watch a toothless man eat. That's a fact. I don't even like watching that. It's not a good look. So now we're up to 59. I'll give myself a thumbs up. How about that? Now we're up to 60. Robert Fry says, you want more? Hell yeah. Bring them on. More super chats? Absolutely, Robert Fry. Let's see if you can top See if you can top Volunteer Appliance Tech. That'd be hard to top tonight. You guys have been amazing tonight, and I do greatly appreciate it. Let me get back to what I was doing here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Well, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I'm going to drop the link. And we'll see if anybody wants to come in for this last 25 minutes. We got nothing but time here. before these guys get it done tomorrow night on senior night. Senior night at Burley Stadium, already here. Can you believe that crap, man? Good Lord. Week 8. Is it week 8? Yeah, because some teams have played 7 games already. Man, nuts. Nobody will, Crimson Brave. Don't worry. See, Jay left and boom. People started bailing on me. I see how they are. I need to have him on every night. I was trying to see. There's got to be a reason. Oh, yeah, Uncle Lou's on. Duh. Oh, this guy. This guy popping up in the background. This guy. Now, which one of you two thinks I was saying this guy about?
Probably me, I guarantee.
No, it was Jason Jones. But good try. Mr. Emoji Man. Show your face, Mr. Emoji. You won't do it.
Miami is the best team in the SEC, and Texas A&M beats Alabama.
Holy crap, what kind of audio you got going on tonight?
I need.
Disconnected.
There we go.
Waiting for connection.
No, we're not waiting for reconnection. There we go. You hear me?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Robert Fry. High school football.
Am I better?
Yeah, unless you make it to the state championship game, high school football is entirely too short. Especially for these crap teams that don't make the playoffs. They only get 10 games a year. Middle school's even worse. They only get 8. That's sad. Yeah, I say it every stream just about. Football season, especially college football season, needs to be 8 months long. Maybe 12, I don't know. Would you guys be all right with 2 games a week?
2 games a week, yeah.
Oh, Jesus, man. See,
You'd have some serious injury issues. I know that much.
Jason's like super loud and Slim's like super low.
And I could barely hear you because I'm driving. I was headed to work on a joke that I'm working on in Boulder City, and the joke was Vegas traffic.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought you were headed to Covington, Tennessee, but you have to go through Covington to get to Crossville.
You do? Oh, shit.
I got some kinfolk out there.
I got no problem with Crossville, the town. I just think it would suck to live in the Eastern time zone and work in the Central time zone, or vice versa.
It can be tough, that's for sure.
I mean, do you get excused if you're an hour late for school or an hour early? I don't know whichever one it is, you know. I always hated, really the only time I ever would cross the time zone was when I would go out to Carter's house, and I would always just leave my watch on whatever time it was. And he'd be like, it's 4 o'clock. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's 5 o'clock. And we wouldn't argue about it, but you can see the disconnect.
Well, it's 6:37 here.
It's 9:37 here.
There you go.
Where are you at tonight in the world, Slim?
At present, I'm in my backyard cleaning up puke off of shit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that Riley puke?
This time it is.
Hey, volunteer appliance tech, sir, you have an amazing night. You already made mine an amazing night, and I appreciate it. And you know, Moody Ball, you're welcome here anytime, my friend. You know, that's pretty good stuff when somebody drops you $2 $50 super chats.
Jesus. We're going to Waffle House. I'm coming.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, joking aside, man, $1 $50 super chat's usually more than
hell yeah.
in a stream.
I sent you 18.
Everybody's been very generous tonight, and I appreciate it greatly. That's how you pay cash for a Jeep and
cash
a car
money,
and a house.
homie.
Yeah, cash money. Everybody's YouTube channel needs to be like that, you know? I wish everybody on YouTube made $400 or $500 a night in super chats.
Hey, BVD, how long is Tennessee going to be connected to mustard bottles? It's getting
Forever.
a little
Forever.
old.
It's like Slim said, it's never going away. Here, we'll just all be emojis. We'll all be
I'd rather be
emojis
connected
tonight.
to a golf ball than a mustard bottle.
Yeah, but I mean, what kind of bet can you make with a golf ball? You gotta drop a dozen golf balls on your head off a balcony or something.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
I'll take a dozen eggs and a gallon of milk over a dozen golf balls any day.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So Slim, looks like you guys, if A&M can beat Bama, Miami is the best team in the SEC.
By proxy.
By proxy.
Well, that's the only SEC team you play, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and see, technically, I don't even consider A&M a SEC team yet. They got to be here at least 80 years before I consider them an actual
80
member.
years, huh?
Yeah.
Be like Tulane, the 1949 SEC champs.
Y'all get back to me when I'm 130 because I am going to live forever. We've all pretty much determined that.
Oh,
now, I may have no legs and no arms, and by the year with my diabetes, by the time I'm 130. But
yeah, when the end of the world comes, it's going to be BVD, Keith Richards, and 10 cockroaches.
Ooh.
Yeah, and maybe Jim Morrison and Elvis because I've heard they're still alive.
Well, isn't Tupac on that same island with Elvis?
I think he might be. Yeah, he might be.
I'm like 7 minutes away from where Tupac was shot and killed.
Be careful driving through there.
No, it was freaking right next to the Strip.
And I want to go to Vegas so bad. Not necessarily when the guys have their Vegas trip or whatever. I don't even know who all is going on that. But I just want to go see all the lights, and I'd be the type of guy that would want to go there and just stand on the Strip and gawk at everything. Especially
there's a lot of them.
The half naked hookers would be nice too. But
there's a lot of those.
I'm stupid. I've got a nephew that lives out there, and
well, you got me out here too.
Yeah, I mean, so I'd have a place to stay. Well, no offense to you, Jason, but have you ever seen the show Banshee?
No.
Okay, how about there was another show he was on, Yellowstone. You ever seen that one?
I've heard of it. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Okay. Well, there's this big. He always plays an Indian in these movies he's in. He's a big, huge Indian in Banshee, and he's a big, huge Indian in Yellowstone. But my nephew is dating and getting ready to marry, if he hasn't already, that guy's sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I suggest he never get divorced.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of money she's working with, but I would imagine he's got a few dollars put back.
You also don't want a big, huge Indian brother-in-law looking for you either.
That's true. You ever heard of the Lumbee Indians from North Carolina?
No.
That's where he's from.
Oh, okay.
I guess where his people are from. I thought he was like Polynesian or something. Until, of course,
I love some Polynesian sauce at Chick-fil-A.
It's all right. I like Chick-fil-A sauce better.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
That's fine. Nothing can touch. I'm going to go two-part on McDonald's here. Nothing can touch the McDonald's sweet and sour, in my opinion, when it comes to chicken nuggets.
Honey mustard.
And didn't the chicken sandwich, the McChicken at McDonald's, used to be great when it first come out? I mean,
like a lot of things, yeah,
great?
probably.
It is terrible. I got one of those today, and it was absolutely disgusting. I mean, I was just not bragging, but usually I'll get light mayo when I get a chicken sandwich anywhere. I just want just a little bit of mayo on it. And I said, don't bother telling them light mayo at McDonald's because they don't slather it all over like they do at Burger King. What'd I get? A McChicken with nasty mayo running out the sides, and I mean it was disgusting. I ate about 2 bites of it and threw it away. Thankfully, the fries were great though. So
Yeah.
I'm like Sports Talk J. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to the kitchen.
Now,
Going to the
not
kitchen.
Not to disparage your great co-host or anything, but I'm gonna have to disagree with his comedians list. Immensely.
Oh, that's fine. I don't think you can go wrong with any comedian list. But give me your top 4.
Well, if Richard Pryor doesn't top your list, I don't take it seriously, and I think you're a damn commie. Of course,
Well.
I'm gonna have Carlin on there.
Yeah, Carlin's on mine for sure. Carlin, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and pick one after that. I mean,
See, I'm not even going to have Eddie Murphy on there. That one special was really great. I'm not going to take it away from him, but that's really about it.
well, are we talking? See, that's where comedy gets so different. Are we talking stand up or movies or both? You know,
Stand up.
Well, I thought when you're talking about comedians, that's
you're
to me
thinking stand up. Yeah.
Like Jim Carrey doesn't even factor into the equation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jim Carrey now, he's done a lot of stand up. That's where he got his start.
Yeah, but I don't think his stand up is any good at all. And honestly, he started to annoy me with his movies.
Yeah, his movies did get kind of annoying because every one of them's the same. You know, he basically plays the same character in every movie.
Ferrell's the same way.
That's true. Yep. Didn't even mention him.
I made 2 connections in the past 2 days. I got a guy that saw my stuff last night, and he's out of D.C., and he's going to kind of help me, give me a little bit of the tool that Martin Lawrence and Dave Chappelle have used as far as set up punchline. And then I met another chick, and she's connected to Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond. He has a show here at the MGM. So, it's just kind of getting out there. And I love it when I come off stage, people are like, you have a very unique style, because people get up there and all they're doing usually is talking about Trump, Christians, white people. I'm talking about why you shouldn't talk about Christians, Trump, and white people. And I talk about things that other people don't want to talk about to a degree that most people are thinking about, but people don't talk about.
Like what? Give us an example.
Pulling your pants up when you're in public. Like nobody really wants to see your ass just sticking out there. I think there should be no.
Yeah, but who doesn't talk about that? I mean, every time I'm driving through Memphis and I see somebody walking down the sidewalk with their ass hanging out, I scream out the window, "Hey, pull up your damn pants."
Oh, you do, but there's certain topics that the new comedians, it's starting to change. It is, and I don't mean Republican, Democrat. It should be right in the middle. It should be, you should be able to joke about whatever you want to talk about. I had a joke about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was at a showcase in Nashville, and I pretty much had one dude that was running the show threaten that he was going to have like 3 or 4 black guys jump me. And I said, well, you want to go, but this is comedy. I mean, I'm not up here making racist jokes. I was just, it was an observation. I thought it was funny at the time.
Yeah, that was a trend like the Sarah Silvermans and the Amy Schumers of the world started. It's like, well, we did it, but you can't do it today. And in my opinion, when it comes to comedy, nothing is off limits.
No, it's not. It's whatever your sense of humor is.
And don't go to a comedy club and leave with your feelings hurt.
Well, then, unfortunately, too many comedians now have kind of been raised that way. Like I'll be working on something about. I'm from the white part of Tennessee. It's called Tennessee, and just kind of a joke like that. And a buddy of mine asked me, "What's Tennessee like?" And I said, "It's all white." It's just it's a silly kind of joke that you may be able to throw in there here and there. And then I would have people come over to me and go, "This is a little racist." I'm like, "What was racist about it?" Well, you were kind of making it sound like nobody that is black lives in Tennessee. And I'm like, it's a joke. Jesus Murphy, it's a joke. I mean,
Yeah,
God
it's
almighty.
kind of backwards. You know, you could, back in the 70s and 80s, you could get away with jokes that tended to trigger somebody as racist, whereas now
Yeah,
you can't. I mean,
well, you can, like he said, they're starting to be pushed back against that.
there is.
Like one younger guy I can think of off the top of my head that I really like that's starting to do that is Matt Rife. He's fucking hilarious.
I don't know.
I haven't heard that name.
Oh yeah, he's got stuff. He's hitting social media hard. He's got stuff all over YouTube, and he's got a couple of Netflix specials too.
You know what? I might have seen him on one of these specials on the pay channels. Maybe
I'm
not.
I know for a fact one of his first special in its entirety is on YouTube.
I looked at a young girl last night in the crowd and I said, "How old are you, honey?" And she goes, 22. And she was a sweetheart. She had a guitar, and this was an open mic where you're working on your stuff. And I said, in Vegas, you're really 42. And she goes, "Huh?" And I said, "It's like dog years here." And I said, "Pretty soon you're going to have a guy come up to you, and he's going to be a little bit older. He's going to ask you if you want to be a star. You're going to tell him no." It got a great laugh. It got a great laugh. And I've been working on that to turn it in kind of like a Brothers Grimm kind of thing, Little Red Riding Hood kind of deal. And it got a really good laugh, and that was cool.
Who would you think? Who would you put on your list of people that are underrated as far as their stand up?
Mine, I got to tell you, I've been listening to Andrew Schultz here lately, and I like him. I like smart comedy. I like a Lewis Black. I like somebody that just makes you think a little bit and makes you kind of think about things that we're all kind of thinking about. Jeff Foxworthy said that. He goes, some people see things like, for instance, at the drive-through that BVD's never been to. They'll say, "Drive up to the first window." Now there's two windows. Is that my first window or is that your window? And what you'll do is you'll take that and you'll spin it around, and that's the kind of funny. But I love smart comedy. I've always been a fan of British comedy. Michael McIntyre. I can't even think of all the ones right now. They're just, I love comedy. I just love it.
Everybody should love British comedy because they're so polite when they say it that you don't actually know that they're insulting you.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
My favorite thing, speaking of drive-thrus, my favorite thing to do at a drive-thru, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but is when you get done with your order, they say, "Please pull forward." And I'm like, if I pull forward, I'm going to hit this dumpster over here. Don't tell me to pull forward.
How about the one where they "Hi, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order?" And then you say, "1 second, please," and you don't hear anything. And I'll just go, "Oh, thank you. 1 second."
I don't get it.
The fact is, they're like all nice and polite, and then you say, 1 second, please, and they don't say a word to you.
Oh, I like to count it when somebody says 1 second, please. I'll go 1,001 times up.
Oh, Jesus. And then you've got a special surprise in your food.
Yeah, I've never had my food that I'm aware of spit on. I mean,
well, that's why they're good.
I know people like to use that one, but
yeah.
See, I don't always have to get fancy with it. Like Joey Diaz just sits there and tells stories from his life.
Yeah.
And it's what makes it even funnier is the fact that the shit's true.
Yeah.
Like, he'll just go on about how he took this Uzi from a guy and he found a kilo of cocaine right after he set a hooker's wig on fire. And the screwed up thing is, that actually happened.
Yeah.
Do we need to take up a donation for you, Slim? Because it's not just my streams. Every stream you're on, your modulation amplitude is very low. Like,
he's like Stephen Wright.
This headset's like 6 years old. It's probably just time to get a new one.
We need to get a hold of TriStar and have him get you a new headset.
Hey guys, I've got one that really happened to me. I was at the Corrections Academy in 2005, and I was in my early mid-20s, and I brought porn to the academy, and I showed it to a Nigerian guy. Well, a lady that was fairly left-wing decided to tell on me. Well, they're beating down my door. Mr. Jones, we know you're in there.
I don't know left wing, right wing, any of that crap because I don't get into politics.
Okay, liberal. She was very. She was the kind of person that would be a. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Well, she's the kind of person that would be offended for everyone, but it was absolutely hilarious. So she's a Karen. But they're knocking on my door like I've got 15 kilos of cocaine in here, and Johnny Depp is hanging out in the room with me or something, Right. I mean, it's like, we know you're in there. We know we're in here. We're here to confiscate your porn. I got kicked out for having one night in Paris. That was a good one, by the way.
Guys, get in your final takes. I'm getting ready to close it down.
All right.
I'm always.
So
I don't have any.
I'm always fascinated by Miami. I want to know what's Miami's best case scenario to finish out the season. Do you win the ACC for the first time?
Probably not. I don't think you go from 5-7 to winning the ACC.
I don't know. The ACC is pretty bad this year.
It is pretty bad. Duke looks good.
I think you guys got a shot at winning it this year.
What does that say about the SEC then, considering we have a winning record against them?
I mean, what do you guys?
We're down too, man. We're definitely down, but I still think we're better than the ACC.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have those thoughts. I mean, or whatever you want to call them.
It's good. It's good to have those thoughts.
Talk about Duke and Boston College all you want. Nobody's fixing to convince me that Arkansas or Vandy scares anybody.
Well, Arkansas maybe, Vandy never, ever.
Yeah. Arkansas back in 1964 when Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones were on the team.
We're national champions, baby.
There you go. At least they had a year. Vandy's never had that. Vandy's never scared anybody in the history of time. And don't tell me in the 20s when they were beating Tennessee the first.
Back in the 20s, they were kicking
first 30 times. But I mean,
Vandy may not have, but their last coach did scare Dan Mullen.
Oh yeah.
Who was their last coach? I know you're talking about the post game kerfuffle.
Yeah.
No, it was during the game.
Oh, was it?
It was like going into halftime or something. Dan Mullen was doing the whole hold me back.
What's his face? It's an announcer now.
Yeah, he's awful too, by the way.
Yeah, he does. He sucks. He's terrible.
He's pretty bad.
Speaking of somebody that's terrible and sucks now, do you guys, I doubt you do, Jason, you might remember this guy.
Who's that?
I started to call you Miami Slim. TJ LSU dad.
Yeah, I've never really got into his stuff.
Because everything he does now, everything he does is racist. Every single thing.
Like he doesn't
is
talk about
racist
football anymore.
He doesn't.
Yeah, so he's went off the deep end.
I left a comment on his. I left a comment on his video today. It was a racist video again, and I just left a very simple comment. I done forgot what it was.
What happened to you, man?
Basically, it was you used to have a good thing going on YouTube until you started this racist shit.
Yeah.
Because he was growing. I mean, he had a halfway decent YouTube channel. But
well, people want to talk football, and they want to get away from the real world, and that's why
nobody in the history of forever wants to hear a guy get on every social media platform that he owns and talk about. Well, I ain't gonna say it, but he's a black guy that's racist. Period.
Yeah, don't worry, they're out there.
But I mean, most black racists, we never hear from them. This guy's like everywhere he can post something.
Oh, yes, we do. We hear from Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith all the time.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah, but
no, you do when you hear this is CNN.
For every Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith, there's 500. I don't know. I started to say Howard Cosell's, but that was a bad example.
Howard Cosell.
Anyway, I'm out of here, guys.
All right, BVD.
You guys have a
Slim,
good one.
take care, man. Be safe when you get back on the road.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys both tonight, man. Good stuff.
Hey, don't forget I sent you $18.
Appreciate it. Slim sent me $18.05. So there,
I
take
beat
that.
you by a nickel.
That's right.
Son of a. All right, boys. Hey, go Vols, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you, boys. Me and BVD will be on Tuesday.
Yep.
Tennessee will not lose this weekend. That's my last remark.
Yep. I'll bet you 50 they don't win either. Y'all have a good one.
See you, buddy.
See you. Yeah, and you guys in the comments have a good one. Good night tonight. Very much appreciate all the support from you guys tonight. 13 super chats tonight. It was a record, and I appreciate it. And a lot of thumbs up and a lot of people watching. There you go. So I appreciate you very much. Have a great night. Go Devils. It's time to bring those levels tomorrow. And if you don't know what that means, you haven't been watching me very long. Go Vols, screw Yarls. And I would say go Cards, mow yards, but they ain't mowing anybody's yards this year. They just bad. Have a good